Hey there, friend. Welcome back. It's so good to have you here. If you've clicked on this video today, I have a feeling you're probably dealing with something that's heavy on your heart. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed, anxious, or just having trouble finding peace lately. I want you to know right from the start, you're definitely not alone. I've been there myself. Anxiety has a tricky way of sneaking into our lives, stealing joy, and making everything just a little harder. But today I'm here to tell you there is hope, real hope, and we're going to walk through this together, step by step, using something incredibly powerful and comforting: healing prayer. Now, I don't know about you, but for the longest time, I never really understood how prayer could help with anxiety. Honestly, when people would suggest praying, part of me would almost roll my eyes. I used to think, sure, that's nice, but I need something tangible, something real. Well, it turns out prayer is realer than I ever imagined. And healing prayer, specifically, can transform anxiety from something that controls your life into something manageable, something you can truly find peace from. Before we dive in, let me tell you about a time when I saw this unfold right in front of me. I have a good friend named Emma. Maybe you have a friend just like her, or maybe Emma reminds you of yourself. Emma has always been someone with the brightest smile and the kindest heart, the type of person who lights up every room she walks into. But a couple of years ago, something changed. Little by little, Emma started pulling back, saying no to invitations, canceling plans, and eventually she rarely left her house at all. When I asked her what was going on, her answer broke my heart. She told me anxiety had slowly but surely taken over her life. At first, Emma thought it was just stress from work, or that she was tired, maybe not eating right. She tried to fix it on her own, doing everything the self-help book said to do: meditation, breathing exercises, yoga, and therapy. And while all of those things helped in small ways, the anxiety just kept coming back, bigger and stronger each time. She described it like carrying around a huge weight she could never put down. Maybe you know exactly how that feels. I definitely know I've had moments where anxiety felt like a heavy backpack strapped to my chest, making it hard to breathe. One evening, I visited Emma after work. I remember clearly that it was raining that day, and something about the gloomy weather seemed to perfectly match the heaviness of the moment. When I got there, Emma opened up to me in a way she hadn't before. She told me, "I just can't do this anymore. I've tried everything and nothing works. I don't think this anxiety will ever leave me." Hearing that from her felt like a punch to the stomach, because Emma was someone I admired deeply, someone so strong and resilient. But anxiety doesn't care who you are. It can hit any of us, anytime, anywhere. Sitting there on her couch that night, I felt helpless. But then, almost like a gentle whisper inside my heart, I felt something nudging me to pray for her. Now, I'll be honest with you, I felt nervous suggesting it. Emma wasn't particularly religious, and the last thing I wanted was to make her uncomfortable. But the feeling wouldn't leave me alone, so I finally just said it. "Hey Emma, this might sound a bit weird, and I totally get it if you're not comfortable, but could we try praying together?" To my surprise, Emma didn't hesitate. She nodded softly, and we closed our eyes right there on her couch. It wasn't a fancy prayer. Honestly, it was pretty simple. It went something like this: "God, we don't really know what else to do. And Emma is hurting. She's carrying anxiety that's too big for her. And honestly, it's too big for us to solve alone. Would you please step in right now? Take this anxiety from her shoulders and replace it with your peace. Let her feel your presence and know she's not alone." As we prayed, something powerful happened. I felt warmth filling the room, almost like someone wrapped a soft blanket around both of us. After we finished, Emma looked at me with tears streaming down her face. But these weren't tears of sadness. They were tears of relief. She said to me softly, "That's the first time in months I've felt like I can breathe." Now, I'm not saying everything changed instantly for Emma that night, because life doesn't usually work that way, right? But it was the start of something truly incredible. Emma began integrating healing prayer into her daily life, little by little. Each morning, before she even got out of bed, she'd whisper a simple prayer to God, asking him to carry her anxiety and replace it with peace. Every night before sleeping, she'd do the same thing, just a simple conversation, nothing complicated. As weeks went by, Emma began seeing genuine changes. She felt lighter, calmer, less overwhelmed. Sure, anxiety still tried to come knocking on her door, but instead of opening wide and letting it control her, she had found a powerful shield: prayer. Emma told me, "It's amazing how much difference it makes, just knowing I'm not facing this alone anymore." And that, my friend, is exactly what I want you to experience today. Maybe you've tried everything too: therapy, meditation, changing your lifestyle, and while those are amazing, maybe you're still feeling stuck. That's okay. It's okay to feel frustrated, because I've been there. Emma's been there, and countless other people just like us have been there. But right now, in this moment, you're being invited into something deeper, something powerful and incredibly comforting: the healing presence of God through prayer. Here's the beautiful truth I want you to hold on to today. Anxiety, no matter how big or powerful it seems, is not bigger than the love God has for you. Anxiety doesn't get the final say, and it doesn't have the right to steal your peace forever. You're loved beyond anything you can imagine, and God wants nothing more than to step into your situation, take your anxiety, and give you his calm in return. Friend, today can be the day you take that first powerful step. It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to use fancy words. You don't have to be in a church. Right now, right here, wherever you are, you're already in exactly the right place. So let's take a deep breath together, and let's open our hearts to that healing presence, knowing that your story of anxiety isn't the end, but simply the beginning of a beautiful chapter filled with hope, strength, and deep, lasting peace. I'm right here with you, every step of the way. You've got this, and more importantly, God's got you. Let's dive into this journey together, embracing healing prayer as the key to unlocking the peace you've been searching for. Friend, your healing starts right now. You know, as we continue this conversation, I really want you to take a moment and pause. Just pause with me right here, right now, and truly let yourself feel this truth sinking in. You are not alone in this fight. Anxiety, as isolating and overpowering as it often feels, is a battle that countless others share with you. I know firsthand how anxiety can whisper those nasty lies, making you feel like you're the only one who can't handle life. But here's the real, unshakable truth. You're not broken. You're not weak, and you're definitely not alone. I'm right here with you. And most importantly, God is right here with you, ready to step into your situation in ways you might not have even imagined possible. You see, sometimes the hardest part isn't admitting you have anxiety. It's believing you deserve to feel better, believing you deserve peace. Maybe that's something you've struggled with too, wondering if peace is actually something you can truly experience. Well, let me be the first one to reassure you today: you absolutely deserve peace. In fact, peace isn't something you have to earn. It's a gift freely given by God, and all you have to do is reach out and accept it. Trust me, I know how easy it is to doubt that peace could ever really be yours. I know how anxiety can feel like a powerful, relentless force, making your thoughts spin out of control, your heart race, and your breathing shallow and tight. It can feel like you're drowning, even though everyone around you seems completely fine. But friend, the truth is, behind those smiling faces and carefully curated social media posts, so many people are carrying around the heavy burden of anxiety, silently hoping someone will notice, silently hoping for relief. I want you to understand right now that what you're feeling isn't strange or wrong. It's incredibly human. The truth is, Anxiety doesn't discriminate. It touches everyone from the strongest, most confident-looking person in the room, all the way to the quietest soul hiding in the background. And because anxiety is something so many people deal with, you're actually part of a vast community of souls searching for the same thing you are: peace, calm, and freedom. When we come together and speak openly about anxiety, something powerful happens. Something I've personally witnessed countless times. I've seen people who've hidden their struggles finally open up and say, "Hey, I'm actually struggling too," and watched as walls of isolation came tumbling down. I've seen friendships deepen, families heal, and entire lives transformed simply because people realized they didn't have to carry their burdens alone anymore. This is exactly why I'm here talking to you today. Because healing starts when we open ourselves up to the reality of God's presence in the midst of our struggles. Healing prayer isn't about pretending anxiety doesn't exist. It's about acknowledging the pain, naming it, and inviting God directly into it. Think about it like this. If you broke your arm, you wouldn't ignore it, right? You'd seek help immediately. You'd find someone qualified, someone who could heal and restore what's broken. So why should anxiety be any different? Your emotional health is just as real, just as important, and just as deserving of care as your physical health. And here's the incredible thing. God cares deeply about your mental and emotional well-being. He designed you beautifully, intricately, with emotions and feelings, and He understands exactly how overwhelming anxiety can be. Scripture tells us clearly, "Cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you." Did you catch that? He cares for you, not just for others who seem to have it all figured out. He cares specifically and personally for you, exactly where you are right now, even in your moments of deepest anxiety. Now, let me be transparent with you. I wasn't always sure how effective prayer could be. Anxiety feels so immediate, so intense. It seems logical to think we need immediate, tangible solutions like medication, therapy, or lifestyle changes. And don't get me wrong, those things are extremely valuable and often necessary. But healing prayer complements those methods beautifully, filling in gaps no amount of self-effort or clinical treatment ever could. Prayer offers something uniquely powerful: peace that surpasses understanding. That's a phrase you might have heard before, peace that surpasses understanding. But what does that actually mean? It means that even when circumstances don't change immediately, even when your situation remains uncertain, or anxiety tries to creep back in, there's a deep inner calm that God places within your heart. It's a peace rooted in the absolute certainty of His presence. Let me illustrate this through another real-life story that I witnessed closely. A couple of years ago, I met a man named Josh, an outgoing guy who appeared incredibly confident on the surface. Josh had a good job, a loving family, and from the outside, it seemed like his life was pretty much perfect. But as we grew closer, Josh revealed he struggled with crippling anxiety almost every day. His anxiety centered around not being enough, not good enough, smart enough, strong enough, and it haunted him relentlessly. Josh had learned to mask his anxiety well, but privately, he was exhausted from pretending. He confessed that he had rarely prayed about his anxiety, simply because he believed it was something he had to manage alone. But one day, things reached a breaking point. Josh called me late at night, admitting he was having panic attacks and was terrified he couldn't handle it anymore. I asked if I could pray with him right then, over the phone, and he agreed. We prayed honestly, openly, without hiding anything from God. And while we prayed, Josh suddenly felt something unexpected. He described it like a calm, gentle hand resting on his shoulder, reassuring him that he wasn't alone. Over the next few weeks, Josh began incorporating healing prayer into his daily routine. Each morning before leaving for work, he would take just 5 minutes to pray, openly giving his anxieties over to God. At night, before bed, he would again ask God to take the anxieties from his heart and mind, replacing them with peace. Gradually, Josh noticed that the anxiety he thought he'd carry forever began loosening its grip. Yes, he still had anxious moments, but they became shorter, less intense, easier to manage. And more importantly, he stopped believing anxiety's lie that he had to handle it alone. Josh discovered firsthand the power of inviting God's healing presence into his daily struggles. Friend, this story isn't unique. It's available to you too. God's peace is real, it's available, and it's waiting for you right now. So as you sit here listening, let me gently encourage you to begin seeing prayer differently. Not as a last resort, but as a first response. Start bringing your anxieties to God, honestly, openly, exactly as you are. There's no need for fancy words or perfect conditions. Just speak from your heart, letting God see every fear, every uncertainty. I promise, He is already waiting, eager to wrap you in the peace that only He can provide. Let this moment be your invitation to begin experiencing freedom. Let healing prayer become your daily anchor, guiding you through anxiety's storms into the calm assurance that God is right here with you, holding you, loving you, and ready to heal you from the inside out. Friend, your healing journey is just beginning, and it's going to be so beautifully powerful. As we continue this conversation together, I just want to pause for a moment to really let it sink in. Healing isn't just some vague concept or distant possibility. It's something that's very much within your reach, right here, right now. If you've been struggling with anxiety for a while, hearing that might be tough. You might think, sure, healing sounds great, but I've tried everything already. Maybe you've read books, watched endless videos, listened to podcasts, attended therapy, and yet anxiety still feels like your constant companion. But trust me on this. Today is different because you're not simply trying another self-help method. You're stepping into something profoundly powerful, God's presence through healing prayer. And here's the thing. Healing prayer isn't about forcing your anxiety to disappear overnight. If anyone ever tells you prayer works like a magic wand that makes problems instantly vanish, let me be the first to say, that's just not realistic. Anxiety is complicated, layered, and deeply personal. But what healing prayer offers is something far deeper than a quick fix. It offers genuine, lasting peace that touches the deepest parts of who you are. It offers a relationship, a connection with God that carries you through each anxious moment, day by day, step by step. And trust me, I've seen this happen again and again in ways that have completely blown me away. A while back, I had another friend named Lisa, someone who was incredibly driven, smart, and successful. On the outside, Lisa seemed to have everything together. She was always smiling, always busy, always achieving something new. But privately, Lisa struggled deeply with anxiety, particularly around perfectionism and performance. She told me she always felt like she had to prove herself, that nothing she ever did was enough. Maybe you can relate to that feeling, the sense of constantly needing to measure up, to do more, be better, even if it exhausts you to your core. Lisa reached a point where anxiety began impacting every area of her life, from her work to her relationships. It got so bad that even simple things like going to the grocery store or making a phone call became overwhelming tasks. Eventually, Lisa decided enough was enough and she started therapy. Therapy definitely helped, but the anxiety still persisted. Lisa told me she felt discouraged, like nothing she did was making a lasting difference. And honestly, at first she was hesitant when I suggested trying healing prayer. She said, I don't really know if praying will help. I mean, anxiety feels so powerful, so out of my control. How can prayer really make a difference? Maybe you're feeling exactly the same way right now. Maybe you wonder if something as seemingly simple as prayer could really make a meaningful impact. Let me reassure you, you're not alone in that question. In fact, it's completely understandable to wonder how something intangible like prayer could impact something as intense as anxiety. But here's what I gently told Lisa, and what I want you to know too. Prayer isn't just speaking words into the air. Prayer is a deeply intimate conversation with someone who knows you better than anyone else ever could. It's speaking directly to God, the one who created you, understands your mind, your heart, your anxieties, and who deeply desires to help you through every struggle you face. When Lisa began praying about her anxiety, something started to shift inside her. Each day, she'd carve out just a few minutes, often right before bed or first thing in the morning. And each prayer she whispered wasn't complicated. It was something simple like, "God, please help me with this anxiety today. I don't know how to handle it alone. Please take this burden from me and help me feel your peace." And guess what? Those simple prayers started making a real, tangible difference. Slowly but surely, Lisa noticed that the intensity of her anxiety began lessening. She felt calmer in moments that previously would have overwhelmed her. Of course, anxiety didn't vanish overnight. Like I mentioned, healing rarely happens instantly. But Lisa found something far greater than immediate relief. She discovered a lasting sense of peace. The kind of peace that stayed with her even in anxious moments, reminding her she wasn't alone, that God was walking right beside her every single step of the way. You see, friend, prayer offers something medication, therapy, or even lifestyle changes alone can't fully provide. It offers connection and relationship. It gives you direct access to God's presence, to someone infinitely stronger than anxiety, someone who loves you more deeply than you could ever fully understand. Maybe right now you're thinking, okay, this sounds wonderful, but how do I start? What do I say when I pray? How do I make prayer feel genuine and meaningful, not forced or awkward? I totally understand those questions, and believe me, I've had them too. Here's the beauty of prayer, though. It doesn't have to be perfect. There's no script you have to follow, no special words you must use. God isn't concerned with how eloquently you speak or how beautifully your words flow. He's simply interested in your heart. All you need to do is speak honestly about what you're feeling, your fears, worries, frustrations, everything. Simply open your heart to Him exactly as you are. It could sound as straightforward as, "God, I'm struggling, I'm anxious, and I don't know what to do. I need you to take this anxiety from me and give me your peace." That's it. Simple, honest, and real. The power isn't in perfect phrasing, it's in your genuine openness to God's presence. And here's a helpful way to think about it. Every time anxiety rises, rather than immediately fighting or ignoring it, turn it into an invitation for God to step into that anxious moment with you. It could be something as small as feeling anxious about a meeting at work, or something bigger like worrying about your health or family. Whenever that anxious thought pops into your head, acknowledge it and immediately say a quick prayer. God, please take this anxiety and replace it with your peace. Imagine that, turning every anxious thought into a chance to experience God's calming presence. Over time, this habit of inviting God into your anxiety becomes a beautiful rhythm, creating deeper intimacy and trust between you and God. You begin seeing anxiety not as an enemy that controls your life, but as an opportunity for deeper healing, connection, and peace. Friend, the transformation I've seen in people's lives through healing prayer is nothing short of incredible. It's real, tangible, and available to you right here, right now. I know anxiety can feel relentless. I know it can feel like a constant uphill battle that never truly ends. But please, hear me clearly. Anxiety does not have the final say in your life. God is bigger, stronger, and infinitely more powerful than anything anxiety could throw at you. He's already overcome the world and all its struggles, and He desires to bring that same overcoming strength into your anxious heart today. As we continue this journey together, I truly believe your experience with anxiety is going to shift in ways you might never have imagined. Anxiety may still knock on your door occasionally, but now instead of letting it in, you'll invite God to answer that door for you. You'll begin experiencing firsthand the beautiful reality of healing prayer. Peace, calm, and hope, even amidst life's storms. So friend, today let's take this step together. Let's invite God's healing presence deeply into your anxiety. Let's make prayer your go-to response, your daily companion, and your powerful, unshakable anchor. Your healing is happening right now, and I'm right here with you every step of the way. So now that we've talked about why healing prayer matters and how it's transformed real lives, let's dive into exactly how you can practice it step by step in your everyday life. First, find yourself a quiet moment and place. It doesn't have to be anything special. A corner of your bedroom, your car before you start the engine, or even sitting on your couch wrapped in a cozy blanket. What matters most is that you carve out just a few minutes where you can be fully present without distraction. As you settle in, take a slow, deep breath in through your nose, hold for a beat, then exhale through your mouth. And remind yourself in that moment, this time is just for you and God. Next, begin by simply acknowledging what's on your heart. Speak it out loud, or whisper if you need to. God, I'm feeling anxious about, and name it. Maybe it's worry over a work deadline, fear about a medical test, or that unsettled feeling you've carried with you since you woke up. Giving your anxiety a name makes it real in God's presence, and He already knows, but hearing yourself say it helps you release its power over you. After naming it, invite God directly into that space. God, I invite you into this worry. Please take it from me and fill me with your peace. Don't worry about using fancy words, just speak honestly. Picture yourself handing Him a heavy backpack and watching Him carry it away. Then, pause. This is perhaps the most important part. Sit in the stillness and listen. Healing prayer isn't only about talking, it's also about opening yourself to receive. You might feel warmth, a sense of calm, or simply the thought you're not alone. That's God's voice of comfort. If your mind drifts, gently bring it back. Keep your focus on God's presence and the promise of peace. To help anchor this practice, you can use Scripture as a guide. For example, slowly read and reflect on a verse like Philippians 4:6-7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Let each phrase sink in as you breathe, turning every word into your own prayer. As you grow more comfortable, you might journal a few lines afterward, just noting what you felt, what thoughts came up, or any gentle insights you received. Over time, this record becomes a beautiful testimony of how God's peace shows up in your life. Another practical tip. Set a simple reminder on your phone at a consistent time each day, maybe first thing in the morning or right before bed. When it pings, pause whatever you're doing and take those 3 deep breaths. Name your anxiety and pray. Treat it like brushing your teeth, a non-negotiable part of your routine that cares for your soul. If you find yourself feeling anxious outside of that scheduled time, say during a meeting or while stuck in traffic, remind yourself you can pray in a moment. Simply say under your breath, God, I need you now, and feel that invisible lifeline connecting you to His peace. Lastly, don't be discouraged if at first your mind feels scattered or you wonder if you did it right. Healing prayer is a practice, not a performance. Every time you turn your heart toward God, you're strengthening that muscle of faith and receiving more peace. Over weeks and months, you'll notice anxiety's grip growing looser and peace becoming more familiar. Friend, I want you to try this today. Find just 5 minutes and follow these steps. Let your first prayer be honest and simple. God, I'm anxious and I don't know how to fix this. Please give me your peace now. Then breathe, listen, and believe. Your heart is primed to receive, and God is ready to pour out His healing presence. Keep going. Your transformation is unfolding with each genuine prayer. So here's the fifth part of our journey together. Practical, heart-to-heart strategies to help you weave healing prayer into your everyday life so it becomes as natural as breathing. First, let's talk about starting small and building momentum. You don't have to block out an hour every morning or suddenly transform your entire routine overnight. Begin with something manageable, maybe just 2 minutes when you first wake up or a quick moment before you lie down at night. The key is consistency. Think of it like planting a tiny seed. Give it water every day, even if it's just a sprinkle, and over time it grows roots that reach deep into the soil. That seed is your habit of prayer, and those daily moments are the water. Next, find creative cues that remind you to pause and connect. I know we live in a world that's always buzzing, phones, notifications, deadlines, so it helps to tie your prayer habit to something you already do. Maybe every time you brew your morning coffee, as the aroma fills the kitchen, you take that as your signal. Okay, this is my prayer moment. Or perhaps you choose a specific object in your home, a candle, a cozy chair, a special mug, and each time you see it, you're prompted to stop and pray. Over time, your brain will automatically link that cue to the habit, making it feel natural. Another simple but powerful tip is to use brief mantras or one-sentence prayers when anxiety strikes outside your scheduled prayer time. Imagine you're stuck in traffic, or you're about to step into a stressful meeting and you feel your chest tighten. In that exact moment, instead of letting the worries spiral, whisper something like, "God, be my peace right now," or "Jesus, calm my racing thoughts." Those little phrases can act like spiritual defibrillators, jolting you back into awareness of God's presence, even when life feels chaotic. Now, journaling can be a beautiful companion to prayer. You don't need to write an essay. A few lines will do. After each prayer time, whether scheduled or spontaneous, jot down what you felt or thought. Did you notice a shift in your breathing? A calmer ache in your chest? A quiet whisper of hope in your mind? Write it down. Over days and weeks, you'll create a tangible record of how God's peace has visited you. When you look back, you'll see a map of your journey, moments of progress that encourage you to keep going on tougher days. Community is another incredible resource. Healing prayer thrives in the context of shared faith. Tell a trusted friend or family member about your intention to build this habit and invite them to join you. You could even set up a simple routine. Check in with each other every few days, share a brief prayer request, and celebrate victories together. Knowing someone else is praying for you, and that you're praying for them, adds an extra layer of accountability and encouragement. It reminds you that you're part of something bigger than yourself. Music and worship can also enhance your prayer practice. I know it can feel awkward at first to combine prayer with music, but when you find worship songs that speak to your heart, songs about God's faithfulness, peace, and love, they can become powerful anchors. You might choose a song to play softly in the background as you pray, or you might simply let the lyrics guide your thoughts. "Lord, you are my refuge," becomes part of your direct conversation. Over time, your mind learns to associate that melody with God's presence, and even humming a few bars can help shift your focus back to Him. Gratitude is another often overlooked tool in the fight against anxiety. When we're anxious, our minds tend to fixate on worst-case scenarios or what we lack. Deliberately pausing to thank God for things, no matter how small, reorients our hearts toward His goodness. You don't need a long list. You might simply whisper, "Thank you, God, for this breath, for this moment, for the love that surrounds me." Gratitude prayers can become a bridge from fear to faith, reminding you of the many times God has already been faithful. As your healing prayer practice deepens, you may find it helpful to keep a prayer pantry. a small box, jar, or notebook where you store prompts, verses, or meaningful quotes that speak of peace and healing. On days when your mind feels too foggy to come up with words, you can reach into the pantry and choose a prompt, maybe a verse like Isaiah 41:10, or a simple phrase such as, "He restores my soul." Having these resources at hand prevents you from defaulting back to worry simply because you can't think of what to say. Also, remember to celebrate milestones. Healing often happens in incremental steps rather than giant leaps. So when you notice you've gone a week praying consistently, or when you sense a clutch of anxiety loosening its grip even for a few moments, acknowledge it. Give yourself permission to say, "Wow, look how far I've come." Celebrations reinforce positive behavior and fuel hope for the journey ahead. Finally, be gentle with yourself on days when prayer feels dry or when anxiety hits hard, despite your best efforts. Every believer experiences seasons of spiritual drought, times when prayers feel like they hit the ceiling with no response. In those moments, remember that God's love for you doesn't fluctuate based on how you feel. Persevere. Keep breathing, keep whispering, keep believing. Even if it seems like nothing is happening, your faith and persistence are powerful acts of worship that draw you closer to the source of true healing. Friend, weaving healing prayer into the fabric of your daily life is a process, one that unfolds over weeks, months, and even years. But with small, consistent steps, finding cues, using brief mantras, journaling, engaging community, incorporating worship, practicing gratitude, utilizing a prayer pantry, and celebrating milestones, you'll build an unshakable rhythm of peace. Each moment you choose prayer over panic is a victory, and every time you whisper, "God, be my peace," you're reinforcing the spiritual pathways in your heart that lead straight to His presence. As you cultivate these habits, anxiety's power in your life will continue to loosen, and peace will become more familiar than fear. Keep going, friend. Your story of healing is unfolding beautifully, and with every prayer you offer, you're stepping deeper into the calm, steady love that God has for you. Tomorrow, we'll wrap this journey up in part 6 with a heartfelt call to action and some final encouragements to anchor everything we've covered. For now, try incorporating one or two of these tips today and notice how they shift your heart toward peace. You've got this, and more importantly, God's got you all the way. All right, friend, we've walked through so much together, talked about real stories of anxiety, uncovered the heart of healing prayer, learned step-by-step practices, and explored daily rhythms that invite God's peace into every moment. Now, as we wrap up, I want you to let it all settle in your heart. Healing prayer isn't a one-and-done trick. It's a lifelong conversation with the one who knows you best. It's the gentle hand that steadies you when your world feels shaky, the silent whisper that says, "You're not alone," when your mind races with worry. And the beauty is this: every time you choose to pray, you're choosing life over fear, connection over isolation, peace over panic. So here's my invitation to you. As you go about your day tomorrow morning, set aside just 5 minutes, no more, no less, and find your quiet spot. Take a deep breath and open your heart. Name your anxiety, hand it to God, and simply say, "Father, thank you for hearing me. Here is my worry. I trust you to hold it. Fill me with your peace." Then sit and listen. You might feel warmth, or you might just notice your breathing slow. Either way, you're receiving a promise that God's peace will guard your heart and mind, no matter what storms rage around you. And if anxiety tries to creep back in, remember the little mantras we practiced. God, be my peace now, or Jesus, calm my racing thoughts. Whisper them under your breath whenever you need. Let those words become your lifeline, pulling you back to the safety of His presence. Friend, this journey we've begun together doesn't end here. I want you to share what you experience. Leave a comment below and tell me how healing prayer is changing your life. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. If you found hope, if you felt even a glimmer of peace, hit that like button and subscribe so we can keep walking this path side by side. And if you know someone who's struggling with anxiety, share this video with them, because just one invitation to healing prayer could change their story forever. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I'm honored to be part of your journey, and I can't wait to hear about the amazing ways God will show up in your life. Until next time, take a deep breath, lean into His grace, and remember, you are loved beyond measure, and peace is closer than you think. I'll see you in the next video.